It wasn't an algorithm. You need to understand that first. The images and sounds you were shown, the cryptic numbers that appeared in your recommendations, that was a signal, a tuning fork resonating with something already inside of you. You were chosen because you are one of the few who senses that the reality we see is just a fraction of the whole story, a beautiful, hypnotic, but fragmented echo. For months, you've been collecting those echoes, feeling their power without understanding the source. Consider this video the first translation of that source. This is not another theory or a guess. This is the blueprint, the very architecture of the philosophy you've been subconsciously drawn to. What you are about to see is the key that elevates you from a mere spectator of the mystery to an active participant in its unfolding. The puzzle pieces are in your hands. Now, let's begin to assemble them.
There are messages that originate from no known sender, weak, ghostly signals drifting for centuries through the static. Yet, against all odds, they arrive. They settle into the bedrock of your awareness. They begin to act. Perhaps this phenomenon has already touched you, brushing against your life when you least expected it. A sudden detail that feels wildly out of scale with reality. A sensation that has no business existing in the present moment. Strange sound, a hum, a frequency that you simply cannot find in any reference book in the world. It is neither a clear voice nor a sudden flash of intuition. Rather, it manifests as an impulse, a residual field of energy. This phenomenon passes through you silently, yet inexplicably alters the very configuration of your perceptual system. Though its origins remain a mystery, the feeling is too profound to be dismissed as a mere psychological error. But pause for a moment. Doesn't it seem like some sort of message that simply lost its sender? Imagine a collapsed cosmic order, not merely a vanished human civilization, but an operational structure of the universe itself that once managed flows, synchronicities, and resonances. Its source code has become rendered incompatible with our present reality. But here is the crucial detail. It has not been deleted. It has simply been deactivated. And, just like any closed system, it left background radiation behind. In the tangible, physical universe, we know that such radiation truly exists. We call it the cosmic microwave background. But this phenomenon we are discussing transcends physical cosmology. Our entire collective psyche, rich with mythic and cultural memory, is similarly scattered with relic messages, fragments that continue to vibrate long after we have lost the key to decode them. These fragments manifest as dreams belonging to no single biography, archetypal images surfacing in the wrong contexts, and meaningless words that persistently echo in the mind. Paradoxically, these phantom signals often exert a more powerful influence than any living message. Because we no longer know how to interpret them, we instinctively try to domesticate them, projecting our own familiar models onto their alien shapes. Yet, these extra-contextual messages, signals that have survived systems no longer in operation, resist our control. They are older than human language, or perhaps belong to a future we cannot yet grasp. They linger like the remnants of an interface etched into stone, reminiscent of the artificial languages created centuries ago to commune with the divine, such as John Dee's Enochian or Hildegard of Bingen's lingua ignota. When a message outlives its own frame of reference, it ceases to signify, but it never ceases to function. Stripped of context, it mutates into a psychic virus or an abstract totem, like a mathematical formula that outlives its parent theory, or a ritual that replicates long after the god is gone. What survives is not a passive residue, but an active interference. It behaves much like Timothy Morton's concept of the hyperobject, an entity that is so vast and distributed in time and space that it entirely exceeds our perceptual grasp, yet constantly altering it. You cannot see its full form or decipher its structure, but it acts on you. It crosses you. It reshapes you. So here's the interesting question. How many of our thoughts, fears, and actions do not actually belong to our own time? It is worth considering how many of our deepest emotional reactions are triggered by dead structures, induced by signals meant for an entirely different species or layer of reality. While this might sound like an intellectual provocation, there are moments when the transmission truly arrives. You experience a dream that is not yours, encounter a structure too coherent to be random, or hear a word you have never read. We usually dismiss these as coincidences or cognitive glitches, but they may well be interceptions, a tuning into semantic orders that have ceased to exist but still emit through sheer inertia, much like neutrons firing from a dead star, pulsing and oscillating in the void long after the fire has gone out. And if these defunct signals manage to reach us, it is not a matter of chance. It happens because some submerged part of our being still resonates at that forgotten frequency, retaining a hidden compatibility with a logic we no longer consciously remember. This positions us as unwitting receivers for something that precedes us, or perhaps something that uses us. This might be the ultimate truth behind Jacques Lacan's assertion that the unconscious is structured like a language. It is not because the unconscious speaks in a way we can understand, but because it acts as a transmission medium, continuing to broadcast even when the grammar is lost and the recipient is unknown. These relic messages defy interpretation not due to their complexity, but because the cipher to decode them no longer exists in our universe. Yet, the lack of meaning does not stop the machinery. Computational models continue to run even when their semantic context is gone. You detect an anomaly and reflexively reconfigure your mental schema, responding as if the signal held a message. That forced plasticity, that immediate psychological reconfiguration, is the undeniable proof of interference. Sometimes we confuse these signals with intuition, other times with perceptual distortion. However, the core issue is not whether the message belongs to you or what it means, but simply what it does. It reorients you. It transforms you. There is no hidden content to be deciphered, only an active effect, a residual distortion. The most unsettling truth is not that these transmissions weren't meant for you or for this time. It is that despite the vast gulf of irrelevance, they affect you anyway. Not because you are the intended target, but because your nature is intimately compatible with the ghosts of the cosmos. And the transmissions, meanwhile, continue. See you in the next episode.